Grok 4.5 costs $0.31 per task versus GPT 5.5 at 5.07, which is a 16x price gap. And yet, out of 5 big claims people are making about Grok 4.5, not a single one holds up cleanly. Grok 4.5 dropped in March 2025, and the hype is everywhere, so I went through press, blog tests, and real demos, putting Grok 4.5's 5 boldest claims to see which hold up against actual evidence. No vendor spin. And honestly, the part that surprised me most is that the one thing Grok 4.5 genuinely does well is also the thing most people comparing it to ChatGPT are getting completely wrong. So who actually cares about this? If you're running API calls at scale, or you're a developer trying to cut your monthly AI bill, or you just want a model that won't refuse every other prompt, you've probably seen Grok 4.5 come up. The claims sound great, so I wanted to check whether any of them are actually true before you switch. Claim 1. Grok 4.5 has real-time internet access and can answer current events questions that other LLMs can't. If this is just hype, you're going to ask it something time-sensitive, get a confident wrong answer, and look bad in front of whoever you're working with. So I went and looked at what the evidence actually says. Okay, so here's what I found. The real-time X access part. That's confirmed. There's a video demo showing Grok 4.5 pulling from live X posts, and that's legit. But the second part of the claim, that it answers current events better than other models, I looked, and there's no published head-to-head test for that anywhere, so it's plausible, but completely unverified. Now, I want to be fair here. Having direct access to live X posts is genuinely different from what ChatGPT or Claude do with web search, and that's a real architectural difference. The gap just might be smaller than people think because nobody's actually measured whether that access translates to better answers in practice. So this one is partially true, and I was honestly expecting either a clear win or a clear miss. The live X access is real and confirmed, but the superior current events claim has 0 comparison data behind it, which puts us at 0 claims fully holding up, 1 partially true after the first test. Claim 2, Grok 4.5 is significantly faster at reasoning tasks than GPT-4 and Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Speed matters because if you're literally hammering a model with hundreds of API calls, a slower model doesn't just feel bad, it costs you actual wall clock time and money, so I went looking for real speed data. What surprised me is that there's basically no speed comparison between Grok 4.5 and GPT-4 or Claude 3.5 Sonnet, none at all. The one real test I found is against Claude Sonnet 5, where Grok 4.5 finished at 12 seconds versus 18 seconds on a coding build, which is 33% faster and pretty interesting, but it's a completely different model than the claim names. This claim falls short. I was expecting at least some speed data against GPT-4, and there's just nothing there, so the claim as stated has no evidence behind it, even though the 33% faster result against Claude Sonnet 5 is real. That's 0 of 2 claims holding up now, with 1 still partially true. Claim 3, Grok 4.5 has fewer content restrictions and will engage with edgy or controversial topics other models refuse. If you've ever had a model refuse a totally reasonable prompt and spent 10 minutes rewriting it, you know how annoying that is, so the idea that Grok 4.5 just won't do that is a big deal if it's true. So I looked for hard data on this, and what I found was pretty thin. There's one video review that says Grok's moderation is light and it'll engage with edgy topics, and that's it. No published refusal rate comparison against ChatGPT, Claude, or anyone else, so there's just nothing measurable here. And look, I think moderation is super subjective and hard to measure anyway, because what counts as refusing a prompt is different for everyone. So even if someone ran a refusal rate test, you'd want to take it with a grain of salt. The data is thin, and honestly, the claim was never really testable to begin with. Calling this one partially true, because a video review does say moderation is lighter, but there's 0 hard data behind it. And I was honestly expecting this to be the easiest claim to find evidence for. That's 0 of 3 claims fully holding up, 2 partially true on the board now. Claim 4, Grok 4.5 costs less per token than ChatGPT Pro and offers better value for heavy API users. If you're running a product on top of an AI API, your token costs are a real line item, and picking the wrong model can burn through budget fast, so this claim could genuinely change how you think about which model you're building on. Okay, so this one's interesting. Grok 4.5 API pricing is $2 per $1 million input tokens and $6 per $1 million output tokens, but ChatGPT Pro is a flat $100 to $200 per month subscription, so you can't compare per token to a subscription, and that comparison is just invalid. What I did find is that against GPT 5.5, Grok 4.5 costs 0.31 Guan per task versus 5.07, and that's a real number. This claim falls short as stated. I was expecting a straightforward price comparison and got a category error instead, because ChatGPT Pro isn't a per-token product, so the whole premise breaks down. Grok 4.5 is genuinely cheap against GPT 5.5, but that's not what the claim said. 0 of 4 claims holding up, still 2 partially true. Claim 5, Grok 4.5 maintains context and coherence better than previous versions across 100K plus token conversations. If you're feeding a model a massive document or a long chat history and it starts forgetting things or contradicting itself halfway through, that breaks your whole workflow, so improved coherence over older Grok versions would actually matter a lot. So the 500K token context window is confirmed, and that's a real spec and a huge window. But when I looked for any data comparing Grok 4.5's coherence in long conversations to older Grok models, I found nothing. No published test, no benchmark, no comparison at all. The window exists, but whether it actually works better than before is completely unverified. This one falls short. I was expecting at least some internal comparison showing Grok 4.5 handling long chats better than Grok 3, and there's just no data. So the 500K window is real, but the coherence improvement claim has nothing behind it. Final tally, 0 of 5 claims, fully holding up, 2 partially true. Alright, so here's where Grok 4.5 is genuinely good. Real-time X access is unique and no other model has that right now. In the one coding speed test that exists, it came in 33% faster than Claude Sonnet 5. Against GPT 5.5, it costs 0.31 per task versus 5.07, which is a massive gap. And that 500K token context window is class-leading for big documents. And here's where Grok 4.5 falls flat. The speed claim against GPT-4 and Claude 3.5 Sonnet has 0 evidence. The ChatGPT Pro cost comparison is just wrong because it's a subscription product. There's no data showing better coherence over older Grok models. And the fewer restrictions pitch is one video review with no refusal rate numbers behind it. Honestly, I went in expecting a few claims to hold up cleanly, and none of them did without a caveat. So here's the decision rule. Get Grok 4.5 if you need live X data, or you're calling GPT 5.5 and want to cut costs. 31 cents per task, that's real. Skip it if you're choosing based on the speed or coherence claims, because the evidence just isn't there yet.